Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm joined by Tom Layton. And that's right, it is a Stream Streak day. Hello, Tom, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you doing? I'm
Oh,
not meant to be here. I'm meant to be at work. But this isn't work, so it's fine, I guess.
yeah, it's also snowing. That's why you can't get to work, right?
It's true. If I move my head to the left, as we established earlier, my colours get all washed out, and you can see the snow. If I move my head back, there you go. You're not seeing anything now, are you?
Yeah, so hello, everyone in the chat. I'm actually the BBC's wargaming correspondent, Rob. That's my latest job that I've acquired recently. Not really true. That's a joke. Before the BBC tried to sue me, but really, you should probably keep your mouth down after Jimmy Savile. And then, I'm here with Tom, and we're just going to be talking. We're going to be painting, hanging out, talking about Warhammer Stonks before our show tonight, because it's our first official Warhammer Stonks show tonight, right, Tom?
Yeah. We're doing it. We were introducing a new segment to the show, I believe. So we're going to be trialing that tonight and seeing how it goes.
Yes.
Speaking of which, do you know what the Harlequin jet bikes are actually called?
They are called. Aren't they called jet?
They're Skyweavers, or are they the
Skyweavers.
transports?
Yeah.
Are they Starweavers, the transports?
They Starweavers are the transports.
Okay, so it's a Skyweaver. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So hello everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. Sitherin, I see you. Draconda. MJ Pegs, glad you're back after the move. Joke PLC, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Scott B, what's gone? Wait, Rob was on the Beeb. Yeah, I was on the Beeb last night. Only local, not radio, so BBC Nottingham. But hopefully I'm going to work my way in. Very much like a political correspondent, but more of just a Warhammer correspondent. I am eventually, I don't know if you remember that very famous that famous interview, Tom, where a guy who was applying for a job, I think as maybe a cleaner or something, accidentally got taken as like an expert for a thing, and then they put him live on air.
I've never heard of that before.
Have you never seen it?
I've never seen that.
It's the funniest show you've ever seen. He's just like, they talked about like, I don't know, Syria or something, and then he was like, "What do you think?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just here for a job. I don't know. It's probably serious."
Of course, he was a Welsh boy, wasn't he? Yeah, there you go.
I don't think he was Welsh.
I mean, to be fair, like we see the number of vox pops that appear on BBC News anyway, where we just ask random people in the street, and you always have one lady who's kind of racist. It's just like, well, can we just cut those out, please? I don't really care what the average person in the street thinks. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, no one cares what the average person is in the street, because generally they're probably going to be an idiot.
True.
Yeah. So hello everyone, welcome to the show. So tonight, me, Tom, and Nick, we're just going to be hanging out, because there's a lot going on to late. Like, we're still waiting for like Warhammer to kick off again, really, like with the releases and everything else. And the Death Guard book is just around the corner. So instead of like rushing anything today, we're just going to hang out tonight.
Yep.
But we're going to talk some Warhammer Stonks. But we're gonna talk about that now. But before we do that, Tom, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions about you, see how you are.
Yeah, fine, bro.
You've been doing loads of recordings for the WTC for their
man.
podcast.
So we did.
Talk to me about how that experience has been.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did 2 this weekend. We did one with one of us, the Swedish captain, and with the Welsh captain, about their process of picking teams, because we've got a lot of new teams that are getting involved with WTC in the coming years, and they've been asking specifically about that topic. So that was kind of interesting from their perspective, but it wasn't necessarily something that I didn't know about before. And then we also had on Sunday, I recorded with the Polish guys. That podcast is now out. You can go and check that one out. And we were talking a little bit about some of the scrims that they've been doing, and that was a weird experience, because when you think about scrims, you think about like private practice and stuff, but it was one of those where actually everybody's really open about what they're practicing, right?
Okay.
So we were talking to the Polish about what they were practicing. I let one of the Polish guys
You could explain the term.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So basically, you've got 2 8-man teams that are put together, and they play against each other on Tabletop Simulator. So you like have an English team made up of people who are applying for Team England, and you get 8 of those guys, and they'd play up against 8 of the Polish applicants. And they would effectively just play a practice round between the 2 teams of 8. And the Polish did that, and they came on to talk a little bit about their practice against England. I let one of them go off on a 10-minute rant about why knights are shit, and he loved it, and I loved it, and it was fantastic. That was a brilliant experience. But also, they were talking a lot about their lists and what they were doing with some of their things. Obviously, they were still hiding some stuff, but because we're so early in the day, they were able to talk quite a lot about a lot of their lists. Because realistically, if the WTC is going to be on, we're going to be seeing them at tournaments anyway, right?
Yep.
So it's very much a case of they don't really mind talking us through them and showing us what their thought process is, right? Even then, though, we've got a lot of teams that are really clubbing together and working stuff out together, right, rather than just being insular this year, because you don't really have that option. You want to practice with as many people as possible, get lots of different ideas. So the Scottish are practicing with the English, practicing with the Polish, practicing with the Welsh, practicing with the French and the Germans, and so on. So that's been a really, really good experience. And
Which has also
on
been a
Saturday,
new experience, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. And they've been doing some really weird things with Craft World specifically. But I'd recommend you listen to understand what they're doing with Craft World. But we've also got a guy from Shanghai coming on Saturday to talk about the Greater China team.
One of
So
the best
that should
films
be fun.
ever.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is, but I've never seen
What,
it
with
because
Chris
I don't
Tucker?
watch films. Mate, we all know I'm uncultured and don't watch films, so
Wow.
it's fine.
Okay.
So you get to talk to a lot of interesting people. I did a podcast with Tokyo Tactical guys in Japan about their WTC team, so I got to meet quite a lot of interesting people as well, rather than just being stuck in my bubble. And yeah, it's been a fantastic experience for learning about what's going on around the world. Really,
Well,
really
actually,
recommend it.
there's a couple of interesting points I wanted to bring up about that, if you don't
Hmm.
mind. So
No,
one
go
of
for it.
the fascinating things is, hello everyone, by the way, thanks for joining us. Is previously, so everyone's practicing these games, like you say, these scrims on Tabletop Simulator because they've got the option to, right? However, previously, obviously, people would have quite insularly in their countries played their like practice events and kept it secret or whatever the situation was. A bit of which Tom's alluding to. And as time goes on, maybe some of those information channels will slow down. But more importantly, well, not unlike, that's not fair. However, like when you compare it to traditional esports, Tom, yeah.
Mm.
So when let's say League, because that's probably the best example I can come up with for myself. When international Tom, that's right, Owen. Big love to you. So when you when you watch players playing League, they play a load of champs online, yeah, and they stream
Yes.
their games, and maybe they practice different champs at home. But because there's so many events, there's so many matches, you generally sort of know like what they favour. So when you're a commentator for those events, or when the commentators at those events are talking about those players, they're like, "This is their main. This is something that they want to stop this
Give us
person's
a comfort
Akali."
pick, yeah.
Yeah. For example, so like it's important as a pick, and obviously in WTC format, there's no sort of banning process, so that's not really what I'm trying to like insinuate. However, when all of the lists do go in, they go in secret, quite a while beforehand. I don't know what the deadline is, how far ahead of time, Tom? Like, what's roughly the
They normally get submitted around June time, I believe.
Okay, so a couple of months before.
Yeah, a month or so before, I believe. It may be early July, but I think it might have been early July last year, so it might have actually been exactly a month before the event. It could have been. It's definitely around that time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the reason I bring it up is because obviously those are submitted in secret, right? Like as a kind of like a metagame strategy. And really, I was just going to ask you how you feel about the difference between those kind of like game systems, because it's quite unique for like a team tour or an international tournament, like for a professional sport, if that's what we want to call it.
Yeah.
Like it's quite different to what some of these esports that go out, right? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Same as in Magic. Like normally, you know which guys are running which decks. Generally,
Yes. Yeah. That's fair. I think one of the things that very much makes it different is that when you're playing League, for example, you generally have like one or two builds maximum. You're playing a champion, right? A good example is like a champion like Kennen, where you're playing like either an AP variant that's very good at team fighting, or you're playing like an AD attack speed variant that's very good at split pushing, right? So you only have like two builds to practice, right?
Yeah.
But you have like 157 champions or whatever it is now. In 40k, you have 16 different champions effectively, but each one of those has infinite builds.
Yeah.
So it's very much it's not necessarily like, oh, this is a comfort champion, because let's say that champion has one build. It'd be a comfort build. So one of the things that you end up doing in a lot of WTC teams is you often have players in teams who write lists for their teammates or are very instrumental in approving or helping players with their lists, right? And often I feel like, especially in the teams that don't So let's say mid to lower table teams, you get players who don't really have as much of an input on that. They get put on a list, and then they just are told to go and play it, right? But because they didn't write the list themselves, or because potentially they haven't played it enough, they lack a certain understanding of exactly what is going on with the list, right? So you can still play it well, you can still play it fine, but because you didn't write the list yourself, and develop the list yourself, you don't have this kind of like innate nuance for you to understand the list, right? So for example, if someone gives me a list and says, "Hey Tom, play it," I'll play it okay. I'll understand what the rules do, but if you give me like 2 weeks to learn it, I won't play it perfectly because I won't have written the list and understanding exactly what I'm inserting in here for and like why I'm doing it, right?
Yeah, it's one of those points that we talk about a lot. Hey, Chuckabutty, big love to you. Steve Dooley, big love to you. Massive love to Steve Dooley. I don't know if you've ever had any of Steve Dooley's sweet treats, but that's a tournament experience for everybody.
Settle down.
Yeah. Angle says, so it's expected to tailor for your opponent, whereas in Warhammer it's not so much of a thing, I feel.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, for example, if you're building tanks, for example, and you have a full AD team, you probably go like Deadmans and Fawn Mail if you've got lots of like healing.
Yes.
Whereas in 40k, you don't.
Yeah, but like the point is still the same. Like as a professional, well, my question still is, I think, relevant because as a professional sport, it's harder to tailor ultimately. So you end up with this kind of like very fascinating reveal stage where you get to see all the lists of what actually has been put out, which I find exciting because that just works to normal single man events as well. You know, like all the lists are in. Obviously, never lists on the day. Never lists on the day.
Well, kind of, but you still are tailoring though, right? Because if I am playing in an 8-man team event, I have some idea of how my captain or my pairings boffin is going to want to use me, right?
Yeah.
So if my pairings boffin is saying, "Hey, you're going down second defender, we're going to want to put you on a heavy board, or you're probably going down first defender if we need that," right? Which means you need to tailor your list to this specific board, or you're going to be playing in the bottom 4 lists that get put down. Here are the most common things that tend to end up there. Maybe you're going to play against demons, maybe you're going to play against harlequins, maybe you're going to play something against something like that. You need to build a list with these things in mind so that you understand how to deal with them. Whereas if you're like in that bottom 4, you're probably not going to be playing against things like AdMech, so you don't need to worry about building for them. So you are tailoring for specific things.
Okay. Yeah. Good points. Good points. Well made. In there, I've had a question, so I'm just going to answer it if you don't.
There you go for it, bro. Absolutely.
Rob, how do you feel about to be so famous you get on the Beeb now? Can people start making Honest Wargamer riff-off channels? Will be the Johnest Wargamer. Please do. I would like that. That would be fun. I would like all of those. All of those make me smile, and I love doing this. I hope I did a good job on the thing yesterday. I worried I spoke too fast.
No, you did a great job. I thought you did fantastically, mate.
Just wanted to be a good representative for the community, Tom. I love a bit of Warhams.
It was the talking fast bit, mate. That's okay. It was the talking fast bit. I was going after, but that's okay.
I was like beforehand. I was like, do I insert loads of memes that only Warhammer people are going to get? But then I was like, nah. I'll play it straight this time. But next time, I'm gonna absolutely.
Didn't even say the words model floggers. Disgusting.
I didn't even say model floggers. I didn't say anything. I was such a pro. I was so proud of myself. Afterwards, I was like, you go, Rob. I treat myself to a cup of tea and a jam sandwich. That's what I did.
Oh, look at you.
I was over the moon.
Did you use some of the special jams from your set that you got the other month?
Pardon
Was
me?
it Christmas? You got some jams the other month.
Oh, right? My God, they're so tasty. I've been smashing those out. Thank you to Jacob Berry again for those.
He's not called Jacob Berry, is he?
He's called Jacob Berry.
Oh,
Jacob Jam Berry. Middle name Jam.
Second name Berry.
The interview was just about, it was me and Gary, who runs the Wargaming Collective downstairs. Lovely fella. But because it's just BBC Radio Nottingham, but they said they wanted to interview some people because obviously Games Workshop have just posted some record profits, and they wanted to just put some good news out there in the world. And I was like,
just out of interest, did they just cross the road and find the nearest gaming store they could?
Basically,
because I know where BBC Radio Nottingham is. It's just like.
But I was like, I'm not just going to talk about the fucking profit margins of a corporation. I'm going to talk about the fucking community because that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Because give a fuck Games Workshop make £1 million or £0. Like what I really I care for their employees, so their employees get paid more money. And if they aren't getting a massive pay rise, in line with their increased profits, then obviously they're an awful company and should be burned to the ground. Obviously, like metaphorically, not realistically. Got to be really careful with those words nowadays, Tom.
Yeah. Don't incite a riot, Rob. So we're going to go storm the Games Workshop offices and take all the Forge World.
It's okay. I've already seized the means of mini production. So.
Oh dear. AKA bought a 3D printer.
But yeah, the community is the important part, right? So that's what I talked about, because as much as I could. And also try to dispel the myth. I knew there'd be a load of normies listening. So I was just like, I'm just going to want... like people to know that everyone who plays this game is pretty fucking boss. Like, I've never met such funny people. Hilarious, weird, like... I can't imagine a more fun group of individuals. Maybe everyone at the football is just as fun, but I don't know.
Nah, they're kind of cunts. As someone who attends football matches, mate, they're kind of cunts. Not just one team either. I've been to multiple stadia.
Just kind of all of them a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a story about when I went to watch Sheffield United play, mate. I went to watch them play a friendly against Stoke City, where they won 2-1 at Bramall Lane.
Yeah.
And they've got this famous chant about a chip butty, right?
Right.
So I heard this chant and I'm like, fucking hell, I kind of want a chip butty now, don't I? So at halftime, I went downstairs, right?
Yeah.
And I went to get my chip butty, and I was waiting in this massive queue. It was like fucking huge. And they've clearly got this new catering company. And every person that got to the front of the queue just gave the poor employee behind the stand just a bunch of stick for being so slow. I'm just like, I do my best, you fucking cunts. All right, sound. Get to the front. They don't have any chip butties. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
They didn't even sell them. So
by the way, for any Americans listening, a chip butty is what you would call a French fry sandwich. Sorry.
Pretty much, yes,
just
exactly.
Explain it to
That's
them.
exactly what that is. Yeah. So they are pretty slow, but at the same time, I'm trying to be nice to them because it's clearly their first time, and they've just had a bunch of stick from all these rabid cunts that have got to the front of the line. So it's like, all right, fine, whatever. So I get my drink, I get my hot dog because they don't have any chip butties. Very disappointing. And I get back up to the stand, and I've come with my dad and my granddad, and we've gone to watch. My granddad hasn't been to a football match in ages. He was hating it because they put all loud music on, just people swearing everywhere. He's very old-fashioned. He's not a big fan. But anyway, I tried to get back into my row from the end that's closest to my seats. No one lets me through.
Okay.
Right, sound dickheads. I go all the way around the other end, so I've got a long way to walk down this road to get to my seat, and someone stands up. So I'm like, nice, thank you very much. So I start going down this row, and I get to this down the road, and there's this old gentleman, not my granddad, but he's got walking sticks, and he's struggling to stand. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm stood in front of this guy who's in front of me, right? Because he stood up to let me past. And right next to him is this old bloke with this, like, walking stick trying to stand up, right?
Yeah.
And this cunt behind me is just shoving me into this old man so I go past him so he can watch fucking Sheffield United, a dog shit Premier League team, playing Stoke, a dog shit Championship team. He's pushing me into this disabled old man just so he can watch the fucking game.
Yeah,
and you're telling me that this is the pinnacle of social interaction in the UK? No wonder we've got fucking Brexit.
I know. Yeah, as a former doorman, an 18-year-old doorman, which is what I was. Like someone would be like, I'm wearing my football top. I'm like, you can't come in. They'd be like, why? I'd be like, literally 50 years of experience. Like, not even mine.
I've seen the state of you, mate. You're not going anywhere near, man.
It's that simple. Like, are you profiling me? Yes, 100%.
Yes,
you are absolutely being profiled. And guess what? You did it to yourself. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's all.
Mate, you profile everyone that comes into a nightclub wearing the wrong kind of shoes. You're not fucking coming in, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do that as much. Apart from you couldn't wear flip-flops, because that's weird.
Yeah, but there you go, mate. There's your profiling. You've just set the standard.
Yeah.
No flip-flops for you. Crocs? Nah. Unacceptable.
Right. Right, so let's talk about Jack Vincent drove for 40k stayed for Rage. Anyway, the point was, I think, many moons ago in this conversation, the Warhammer people are brilliant, obviously. And the community is brilliant. Yeah, sometimes there's a couple of tossers. But, it's much rarer. It's much rarer. Yeah. It's not like the whole culture is tossers. It's just like a couple of oddballs out there. Big shout out to all of them. They're probably my friends. Right. Right. So then Anyway, yeah. And so it was a fun interview. It was a fun time. Hopefully, they'll ask me on again, and I get to talk about it a little bit more.
You came across really well, man. So I'm sure they'll get you on if.
Well, actually, so there's a guy. Let me tell you about this. So there's a guy. So you know when we were doing the Super Series, there's a guy who does like the football correspondence down the road. Obviously, massive tosser. No, he's not. I don't know him. But I seen him, this guy, and I was like, should I just fucking disturb him while he's having his breakfast and tell him about T-Sports? I was like, don't be.
You did drop the word T-Sports in the interview, and I was like, yes,
I did.
Like,
I did. Fucking absolutely stonk.
A T-Sports, if you will. Ooh.
A T-Sports, if you will.
Oh my.
Oh my. Hi, Donaldinho. I don't think there are any nightclubs in Glasgow where you can wear football colours mostly because you get stabbed. There you go.
Yeah, that's
easy.
right. Yeah.
Right. So my point was, like, it would be cool when we do the Super Series again in the future, or if there are generally Warhammer events, for eventually, because there are obviously esports like commentators, and I mean, like, so the Stat Center, when we did the Age of Sigmar Stat, I mean, we still do the Age of Sigmar Stat show, we still kind of like do that kind of like reporting, but thinking about like something massive like the WTC or something like the OEO, like those large events, I don't know why it's not covered on the BBC. Like, not to be rude, I get it, it looks fun, but curling, fucking curling.
Maybe they put Counter-Strike on the BBC now, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I just feel like
There's a documentary about XL Esports on there too.
Yeah, so I'm basically going to try and wangle my way in with the BBC and then get T-Sports massive. That's my plan.
Hey, if you could do it, mate, and then we just like hire some like fucking like world like banging casters. Like, you know what I mean? Fucking John Motson talks about 40k. He just know about those, does he?
Apparently Brad Pitt almost got stabbed in Belfast in the 90s. So
I can believe that. Well, when we were going to go to Belfast for the Six Nations, like Pat was saying, right, you need to be careful about which pubs you go in here. And I went to Belfast over the summer for my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And when we were driving around the city, the number of Union flags and what have you that were flying around in the part of the town that we were in was insane. It's very big.
I've had a very sheltered experience of both Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland because obviously I went over for Warhammer events and I was just with the fucking nicest people you could ever imagine. Hilarious. Like, I was more terrified of the people in playing Warhammer than I was outside. It's a guy called Dino. Honestly, wasn't sure if he was going to like try to actually finger me. Like, but one of the funniest individuals I've ever seen in my life.
That Donaldinho, yeah?
No, not Donaldinho. I'd kiss him. I'd go on a romantic,
right, okay.
Like in Italy where you go on the gondolas and someone pushes.
In Venice,
I'd take us both on one of those. Yeah, and try and kiss his lovely head.
Oh mate, we have there's a theme park in Kent. I think it's Bridlington. It used to be there called Dreamland.
Yeah. And
I used to go there all the time with my nan when I used to go down there. Like, we didn't go down there very often, but when we did, and my nan's quite a large lady, so we got in all these gondolas. You sit in a boat and then you go around the kind of river and shit, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave my nan until the end with my mum, who's her daughter-in-law. She gets in the gondola, and the gondola just fucking like.
What is the story?
Let's get my mum in and stick all the bags down the other end with my mum. I still can't balance it, mate. It was fucking terrible, dude. Oh, bless her. I love my dad. That was a funny story.
Right. Well, hilarious. That's fun.
It was funny. It was very funny.
Right, so let me explain to everyone Warhammer Stonks. Let me explain Warhammer Stonks to everyone. So later tonight, me and Tom, Tom and Nick, sorry, we're all going to be prepped tonight. So I want you guys coming prepped for the Stonk show. Yeah, I don't know fucking about. Yeah, it's serious, the Stonk show, right? Because it's our first try at it, so it's going to be important. And what Warhammer Stonks is the Warhammer like trading platform. That's right. It's going to be our new section on the 40k show later tonight, where we're gonna suggest units which are, so we're gonna have to be a unit that you must buy and a unit you must sell. That's the stonks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, buy and sell. I might watch some of the actual shows that they do, Tom, and see what they do and try and create some graphics.
It's like Wall Street Bets, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Wall Street Bets, but it's Warhammer Bets. Yeah. And we need some We need some strong like contenders for those. Like Angler in the chat says, I've got 2 extra Hydra Charybdis kits going for the risky stonks. That's really risky. That's really low. That's really low.
I don't know what
balling.
that is.
Buying low.
Honest.
Big shout out to the Dreadwoods. Thanks for subscribing. Look after yourself. I hope you're well. It's just 40k stonks tonight. It's just 40k stonks.
I don't know what an Age of Sigmar is, so
yeah, I'm going to include the Age of Sigmar stonk section in the Age of Sigmar show as well. So it's going to be something that we're going to put in. What counts as insider trading? Everything I know.
Yeah,
is probably what it is. And so yeah, that's the suggestion. The idea is you would sell, right, if you think that it's going to go down in price, like as in like, or it's going to be worthless. Like for instance, there might be a load of people out there right now sat on units of Eradicators. Let's say, probably. I'm trying to think of something that's like...
Yeah. If you think it's going to become less valuable in the future or less strong, then you sell. If you think it's going to go up in value in lists, you buy.
Yes, it's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You're basically trying to get ahead of the curve and buying and selling before the price fluctuates. Yeah.
It's a bull market on Raptors, boys. Bye, bye, bye. Drukhari Reavers are a good example. Like right now, people might be buying loads of Drukhari Reavers because they think Drukhari Reavers are going to stay at the points that they ended up going, going to 10 points.
Yeah.
However, so there might be a whole bunch of people like
that means
amazing.
The price has gone up because people are buying all the time. Yeah.
So I would sell them right now.
Yeah.
Right, because there's no way that's staying. So I would sell. There's going to be a load of interest, and the reason this is quite important because Games Workshop can't keep up with production. Yeah. So. Like, there's limited resources for miniatures out there. Whew! This is an exciting marketplace. It's an exciting marketplace.
We need to start a clips channel just for 9-minute, 10-minute segments of the show just to upload.
Yeah.
We should start a clips channel. That'd be sick.
I'll do that. All right. Honest Wargamer Clips. Anyone want to be in charge of the clips channel? Please. Please. I don't want to upload any of this stuff.
No, it's fine. We'll just get a clips
Some fucking dickhead yesterday was like, oh, why didn't you talk about cool things like Age of Sigmar? And I was like, dude, do you know how much I talk? It's like another question. I was building terrain yesterday with the wonderful Curtis, and he was like, and he was just like, how do you find stuff to talk about with Warhammer for like an hour every day? I was like, it's not even an hour every day. It's like at least 7 hours a week with like 2-3 hour shows. That's like,
yeah. And then you've got the hour a day shows. I mean, it's just like you chatting with the chat though, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The chat kind of pokes you a little bit with that.
It does, but my point is there's a lot to talk about, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Right, I'm seeing what everyone else is saying. The second-hand market is awful. The people trying to sell are trying to sell hobby disasters for near retail.
Oh, mate,
the buyers all try to con you. And the buyers all try to con you to giving them free shit.
Have you seen the state of eBay at the minute? Mate,
huh?
You know how people used to just post pro-painted on their models all the time?
Yeah.
They've stopped doing that. They've changed it to commission. They've just changed the word to commission painted. Fucking, it's the same shit under a different name, man. And a lot of it's just broken. You'll have painted it up nicely, but at the same time, it's on a flying stand, and the flying stand isn't broken, so you've just glued a foot to a rock, and then it's just now it just looks like it's fallen over.
You've made a really good point there, Twitch chat and you, Tom. So it's all good as saying buy, sell. But where do we do the Stonks trading? Where is the best place?
We need another website.
No, we don't.
We're gonna make.
We do too much.
No,
we
here's what we need a website. No. This is a fucking moneymaker, dude. You know how you got cryptocurrency?
Yeah. Currency.
Yeah. We're gonna make an honest wargamer cryptocurrency based upon the value of units and how often they appear in builds.
Okay, that's wild.
Hey, we're going to make a fucking pyramid scheme and everyone's going to love it.
Okay, so my question to everyone in the chat is, so where do you do? eBay is usually higher than recommended retail prices, Colonel Cabbage. It's mad. Maybe you're just in the wrong stonks, Colonel Cabbage. Maybe you're always trying to, now we know that Colonel Cabbage is chasing the meta and always trying to buy when prices are high.
Yeah, he's not an insider trader on the stonks market.
He doesn't know.
Yeah. We're gonna. It's okay. We're gonna teach him the ways of insider trading.
Gitcoin, Tom.
Oh, mate, that's brilliant.
Well done, Gitley.
There you go. He's definitely not just named it after himself. There we go.
Pyramid schemes are great if you get in early, says Donald Dino. I agree.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. We're gonna make an MLM next, which is basically the same thing. Do you like to sell some Warhammer?
Who would like to sell
Have
some
the Warhammer party and sell your dwarves.
Big shout out to WapWap92 in the chat. If we could all show her some love, her cat's poorly today.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. So she's sad about that. I endorse Gitcoin. I agree. You bought this on yourself, Rob. You were always destined to start some type of footsie.
Is that like Brazilian street football?
Huh?
Is that like Brazilian street football?
Oh, wait, who came up with Gitcoin? I'm so sorry.
I don't know what footsie is.
Oh, it was Owen. Sorry, Owen came up with Gitcoin. Apologies.
Okay, well, give it to Gilly now. Unlucky Owen.
Can't mess around with Owen. Warhammer celebrity. Shout out Warhammer Weekly last night. Yeah, going on there soon. Woo-hoo! Can't mess around with that guy.
There you go.
I would love to see you on Warhammer Weekly, Tom. That'd be
Mate, I would fucking hate it. I'm gonna be honest. I would fucking hate it. Every second I'm on that show, I would hate it.
What did I do to a cat? I did nothing to a cat. I did nothing. Like, a cat's just poorly and she needs some love in the chat. So if you guys got the opportunity to do that, that'd be great. So I guess we need your suggestions for what you think are good stonks.
I've already got my stonks locked in, mate. I posted them in WhatsApp this morning.
You can't reveal the stonks.
I know, I'm not going to. But all I'm saying is I've bagsied my stonks, so you guys can't have my stonk trades. They're mine now.
Stonk trades.
Yeah. We can't just talk about like the same 2 units when there are 6 stonks up for grabs, can we? So I need to post in the chat and say, this is what I'm talking about. Fuck you all. These are mine.
I've got some stonks, I think. So I was serious about Raptors. We can definitely do an AOS stonks too. We're going to do that on the Monday show, I promise. It's going to be the only actual section which we're going to introduce in the past 3 years.
How long could you spend arguing about stonks for one show? Let's see. I believe you could spend the whole 3 hours just talking about stonks.
I think it could be an entire 3-hour section based on the stonks.
1 hour for Nathan and his stonks, and then, I don't know,
Nathan's
whatever.
Stonks will always be the same. Buy gits, sell elves.
I feel like we just make him the like fucking King Solomon as like the permanent judge of the stonks, right? He's the arbiter. He is fucking with the scale in one hand and like the scepter in the other. Just I don't know, whatever. Fucking.
One of the things I was thinking, because obviously Death Guard is coming up, but we know some of the points changes. So kind of the most out there stonk right now is the Mephitic Blighthauler, because Mephitic Blighthauler used to be 100 points. Yeah,
yes.
So it's the little bug that's got a multi-melter, and it's got a missile launcher, and it's got a little combat attack. It's pretty good. Obviously, it's lost disgust and resilience, but more importantly, it's gone up 30 points. So, specific stonk there. But it's gone up 30 points, but right now, we have no idea if it's got better for those 30 points in some way. We know its stat line. We know it went to Ballistic Skill 3. Not sure if that's worth a 30-point hike. Yeah, but we know it's done that. We know it's got the -1 damage as well. We know that. So we know that, but we still don't know if it's got any like datasheet abilities or what you can do to it. So that 30-point is like right now. Everyone's sat there nervously. I'm sat on 7 fully painted Mephitic Blighthaulers, which is like a low bid. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. I'm sat on this cachet. I need more. I'm gonna have to watch some.
I feel like they're a mystery box. If you want to sell them, mate, you never know. They're a mystery box right now, right? They could be really, really strong, but if they're weak, like you could sell them now, and then if they turn out to be weak, you're a fucking genius. But if you keep hold of them and they're shit, it's unlucky, I guess.
Really unlucky. Owen says, can we have a stunk deadline day when we know the FAQ is dropping? I mean, Friday night, 23:59 is what on this current stunk. They're currently they're out for that predictive kind of like situation. So I think that's an interesting one. Can get onto the Goonhammer team, control the stonks to your benefit because people will take judgment as gospel. Angle, good point. That is a good point.
I mean, yeah, they do.
That's insider trading, though, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, one of the good examples is Craft Worlds. Like, I was talking to the polls on the WTC Squadcast. Spoilers, you should go and watch it. They've got a use of Craft Worlds in their 8-man team for World Championships. I've been using Craft Worlds as well. And Goonhammer called them shit.
Really?
But everyone now thinks they're shit. Like, go out into the street, you'll find someone who thinks Craft Worlds are shit.
Yes. yeah, like I don't know what to add to that really. Like,
No, it's pretty good.
oh, Delver Chris, thanks for subscribing. Big love to you. I think it's your first time in the team.
Hog Bog.
Yes, appreciate that. Yeah, Skonka Watch. I don't know what, like, whole armies are obviously like up for debate right now.
Yes,
like, on whether or not
100%.
they're shit or not. Like knights right now, you could buy low probably. Like, and I think they'll probably end up being good. They're more than likely going to get the rule where they count as X number of wounds on an objective and objective secured. So personally, like, I think that's the one. I mean, using Goonhammer to adjust our stonks for Gitcoin would be far too strong. I don't think we'll do that. But, like, do I want to make a Warhammer Stonks website? Yes. Are we going to do that? No, Tom. We don't have time.
No, we don't.
All the money.
No, that's true.
The Falcon says Tau will be great. Time to buy. Okay. Can confirm. Oh, MMX James. What a lovely bloke. Nice to see
Hey,
you
he's
chat.
back. I have not seen that guy in ages, man. And
think
I
he
don't
just
know
no-
why
I
he
think
didn't
just
apply for
noped
Team
out of
England.
ninth. Huh?
I mean, that's totally understandable, and that's the only excuse I can find for him not applying for England this year. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. Great guy, though. Great guy.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
gamer.
It's good to see you, dude. It's good to see you.
Can confirm, I think Craftworlds are shit, but I always have. Stupid pointy ears, says MX James. There you go. Cell KO increases coming. I feel that. Age of Sigmar's in a really strong position right now for the Stonks game, Tom, because there's an FAQ on the way in the next 2 weeks.
I feel like that's very volatile, though, Rob.
It's a volatile
You basically have to
marketplace.
predict what they're going to do, right?
Yeah, they have no idea. Like, we could do anything could happen. Like, absolutely. You know how, like, sometimes, with 40k, you're like, the Eradicator, like, points increase, you're like, that makes absolute sense, and you could see from, like, 3 weeks away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I feel like the points increase isn't going to be what killed the Eradicator. You're going to have Games Workshop popping up in like a few months saying, look, we increased the points of the Eradicator and now they're not popular. They already weren't that popular. They're still strong. They're still decent in Salamanders, but at the same time, I'm just like, where do you take these? And what do you drop from these lists? If I'm taking Dark Angels, where do I put my Eradicators? Do I need Eradicators? No, I've got Transhuman everywhere. No. Like, what do Eradicators kill? They kill big shit, right?
But there's no big shit in the game right now.
Why do I fucking care about big shit when you can't wound me on a 1, 2, or a 3 anyway? Like, what the fuck?
But isn't there really, like, not that much big shit anymore?
Right. Well, that's another reason, right? The only exception would be things like the big Forge World Tyrannid thing and the Keepers of Secrets and the big Lord of Change, which doesn't care about you anyway.
He doesn't care about you anyway.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I was going to say is with the release of Mortarion, tell you what, I am.
Oh,
tell you
mate,
how
that's a
hype
big
I
shit.
am.
It's going to scare everybody, mate. Holy shit.
Yes, I'm so hyped for that guy. I'm just going to throw him at people like, get this. This is stonk. He's just going to bash.
Tough to say, he's fucking dirty, dude.
-1 damage. He's got 3 Warlord traits.
Yeah.
3 Warlord traits.
I'm so glad I've got a painted Mortarion.
Me too. So MX James says, yo chaps, thanks for the love. I'm just looking in the house. Shadow's not left the house in 10 months. Not exactly on the scene. No Team England for me this year, as I've got played since May. I should be back when the world's no longer
Mate, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, dude. Looking forward to having you back when the world's no longer plague-ridden.
And that's true for everyone in the chat, right? Like, I imagine all sorts of you. Like, I really appreciate anyone who's, like, on the Honest War Game Patreon, who subscribes, who joins us every day. Because, like, the fact is like, I can totally feel it. Like, I'm painting these Death Guard, and I'm excited about the book, but then on Sunday I'll be like, yeah, probably still not going to play for, like, 4 months. So, like, it's quite a long time. But, you know, that's why I'm like a doomsday prepper, Tom. But I'm a miniature
I feel like we're all
prepper.
like doomsday preppers, mate. We've got our own little rooms that no one else is allowed to enter apart from on special occasions. And it's just full of shit we've been building for ages.
Yeah. I wonder how everyone else is doing with their building collections. What's going on up here? Someone said.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, good point. Yeah, I forgot about people homeschooling kids. My bad.
Yeah, people are yeah.
Good point. Yeah, I'll turn that down. Good shout.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bless them. Sorry, we probably should not swear. So the parents with the kids.
I feel like in the middle of the day that might be a good thing to implement.
Oh, flip.
All right.
We'll
fix it.
All right, that's my new
Didn't think
decision.
about that.
I will no longer swear on the day shows.
Not
at
during the
least.
day shows, at least. Yes,
Yeah,
we'll say
not
that
during
for the
the day
evening.
shows.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Yeah.
I would also recommend you hide the chat, by the way.
Oh, the chat's... Well, I wouldn't hide the chat. The chat's the best bit.
We can't... Yeah. No, I mean, if you're homeschooling kids, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cropox, thanks for subscribing. Joining us first time. Yes! Get in there. To be fair, my 7-year-old kid knows this show as Sweary Rob. Sorry.
Not as Sweary Tom. All right, man. Okay. I need to try harder then, don't I?
I like the idea that maybe like if we stop swearing now, a couple of months' time, there'll be like some adults with their kids who are watching like the day show. They're like, "It's those boys again, Dad." It's like, yeah. And they're like... And then later on, there's the evening show. It's like, can I watch the night show? It's like, no, that's not for you.
Hey, the alphabet done by the honest wargamer. Oh, dear.
Tomorrow's nameplate is Sweary Rob. Okay. Non-Sweary Rob. Yeah. Honest wargamer After Dark is our new thing. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the Stonk show later, Tom.
Mate, that's going to be a lot of fun. Have you had to think about what you're going to do? Obviously, don't reveal any of it, but have you thought about like what kind of units you might go for?
Well, I was thinking obviously Death Guard. Like, I think it's also kind of like a hilarious kind of like way of looking at the meta as well, because it is, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is. Yeah.
What's terrible in the meta, and then like then that obviously goes into the cells, into the buys, and then what's great in the meta that goes into the cells. And I guess it's really time dependent as well. Like we've just had the FAQ, so we're super conscious of there's not going to be any changes to stuff that's happened, but there's loads of codexes stuff to come as well. So I feel like that there's a really good conversation to be had there. So I was thinking about it, and I think it's quite a nice way of kind of like analysing how the game state is and what units are for people. And some things are beyond, because this is the other point which is obvious, and I've made this point 1,000 times on the show. But some units, it doesn't matter really how cheap you make them. That's not true. Like if I could just get a unit for a point and I could take it like 75 times. I know you can't do that 40k. Yes. Then obviously that's stonk. But some units data sheets just really provide you nothing other than bodies 100%. On the board, and that bodies on the board is useful. But a good example would be the Charybdis in Age of Sigmar. I don't know if there's an example in 40k where it's so useless. Why would you ever take it?
I think I made one. I think a couple of shows ago. I definitely said something. Oh, it doesn't matter how cheap it is. You just never take it, right? And that is because a rule of three is a thing. Servitors, I think, are one of those units that actually have a use in terms of just you literally just pay to put them on things, and because they don't take up a useful slot, it doesn't really matter, right? Troops never fall into this trap because they don't have rule of three applied. Same with dedicated transports. The issue would be with things like elites, fast attack, and heavy sports, where they are. It doesn't matter how cheap you make them. You need those slots for things that allow you to win the game. They're not efficiency slots; they are carry slots, whereby you, for example, Necrons, fantastic example. You need to take things like where do the Wraiths go? Are Wraiths elites or are they fast attack? I thought they used to be fast attack. Elite. They could be elites, but one of the two. Either way, if you are playing Necrons, most of the time it doesn't matter if you've got like something in that slot that's like 1 point if it does nothing that's useful.
Yeah,
because you need those units. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's making a good point. No, Tom, you're making a good point. Actually, because of the army building system that you have in 40k, and I guess that's the same for Age of Sigmar as well. Because the army building system you have, those slots are really important. Like in Age of Sigmar, those monster slots are important as well. Those leader slots, not really taking up that much. Those artillery slots. But yeah, MX saying Genestealer Cult Terrain piece.
Mate,
all it does is mortal wound your own army. Literally would take it if it was.
I feel like at some point we need to. So on another podcast I used to be on it sometimes, but it wasn't mine. It was the 40k UK podcast, and they used to have a segment where they just took like a character from every single faction and did like a knockout tournament between the characters where they just made them fight. I feel like we could do that between all the terrain pieces. Because the shittest one, the worst one goes through. So I want to see the Genestealer Cult terrain piece fight the Webway Gate in the final.
All right.
Perfect.
Does the Webway Gate have any guns?
No.
No. The town one's got a pretty good gun on it.
That actually has a use, though.
Yeah,
I think it gives you some cover, doesn't it, at least?
Yeah. What keywords did it get in the update? I never even checked. I imagine nothing good because I've never heard of it.
MJ Pegasus, you absolute babe. Thank you very much for the gifted subs. And Dan Brook finally has a subscription, as does Sean. There you go.
Proud of you all. Proud of you all. I've still never seen a Webway gate in the wilds as Star Wars X.
I
Lovely.
think I saw Kirioth painting one on Twitter, and that's about as close as I got.
He's meant to come on the show. I should ask him again. Apparently, he's getting into Age of Sigmar, so I'm gonna
There you go.
Ask him to come on the show.
Was he painting Webway Gate? I saw someone painting Webway Gate. No, he's painting that other thing, isn't he? Yeah, someone's painting Webway Gate on Twitter. I don't know who it is.
Thanks, MJ Pexes, by the way, for the gift subscriptions. Appreciate that loads. I've got a Webway Gate on the table as a cool bit of scenery. Radio Oink.
Hey.
Welcome to the team.
That's what you do, dude. You just do it for like a display board, and then you earn points to win majors.
Yeah, that's all you do. You use the terrain pieces. The terrain pieces themselves. So actually, the Death Guard terrain piece, Tibble's Evil Cat, big love to you. It's 69 viewers. Inverse the secret number. That's nice.
I ruined it again. We're up to 98. Damn it.
Damn it.
You guys ruined it. Leave. Down to 94 now. Too many of you left. Come back.
The point. What was I about to say? I got lost there.
I have no idea, mate. What have we done?
What was the point? I was about to say. Oh, jeez.
We're talking about paint.
That was it. That was it. Do you not think so? Okay, so the Space Marine terrain piece was like meh, yeah, like, but not great. And then the Necron one was like meh as well. But like the Death Guard one genuinely sounds viable.
Yeah,
like genuinely like useful.
Well, the furnace thing.
Yeah. Providing that
properly. But
it provides it's a 9-inch aura. Yeah, a 9-inch aura of the -1 toughness.
Okay. If you can drop that down, it's about getting that down though, right? It just like corners off an entire section of the board, so that could be useful. It depends on how many points. It does seem though that Nurgle gets all the best terrain. Like the only other terrain piece that you used to see like prolifically around was the tree, the feculent normal. There you go. That was used with the plague bearer builds, where you just run things up the board and charge at people, and it was funny. And that was the only piece of terrain that you ever, like, you looked at the list and you think, oh, that's going to have one of those in. That was the only piece of terrain. And it kind of makes sense for Nurgle, right? Where it's just constantly growing stuff. Non-Queen likes it, that's the one. There you go. So, yeah, it's the only one that you really see. And I don't know if that's a shame, because if I say it's a shame, then Nikos will bury me. But you know, maybe if it was a more useful slot, it could be good. Like, you used to see Aegis defense lines all over the place in Sickfed when the slot first came out. So maybe we'll see. I don't mind like little odds and ends of bits of terrain, but just turn up. But just like having it wholesale is probably a bad thing.
Well, I mean, it's having it as integral to your army. I think is one of those things that like maybe will trigger people. Like, I actually like it in Age of Sigmar. Like I do. Like the boats are like the boats are a negative play experience. Like they are. And the power level of
those VIDNF boats, yeah.
Yeah, because you just can deploy them in front of. Imagine you can just put 2 movement blocking. They're not like they don't stop you moving over, but you have to like move up and down. But let's say I can just put 2 9-inch, 8-inch pieces of terrain in front of your army turn 1. You'd be like, this is really abusive, and it is super abusive. So I'm against that. But like the rest of the terrain pieces, like I mean, the OC Bone Reapers one is super strong as well. Like that's really effective. And like I did a tweet, and it was pretty close. It was like, which would you rather have, a Lariel or a terrain piece for 0%, for 0 points? And it was close. A Lariel won, but it was close. Like the OC Bone Reaper terrain piece almost got it. And the scenery is mostly too big. The scenery is good, but I don't know. I quite like its effect on the board. Like the Nurgle one seems okay. Like the Webway Gate's too big. The Orc Boy Mech Shop, like is being asked in the chat, is pretty lovely looking, but it gives you such a terrible, like it's such a badly written data sheet that why would I ever take it? I don't really know. So yeah, Hearthstone best faction terrain piece, no question. Thematic effective, no MPA. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like a lot of the terrain pieces you just mentioned just look like great on display boards. Like Webway Gate is one. You can see it in the Warhammer World Museum, but you can take your kids to see when we open up. The Mech Boy Workshop's another one, right? I feel like you can get some magnets on that bad boy and just slide it up and down, right? So
you could. Yeah, you could, but we're not going to, which is the like.
Well, I'm not going to use it with my Stomper anymore, am I? So, I mean, I've got one now. So.
Yeah,
it's because Games Workshop re-FAQ'd their own FAQ for no reason whatsoever. It's like, why even bother answering the question, man?
But that's the power of the stonk market. Yeah, we never know.
Yeah, idiots on the internet cried about it.
That's my
Why are you
favourite
taking your cues from morons on Reddit?
or Facebook threads. They're also brilliant. Yeah,
Why?
but that's where no. See, this is where if we get good at the stonk system, yeah, the Facebook threads, because you could even manipulate them yourselves. You could jump into the Facebook thread and be like, I can't believe how broken insert unit is, and someone will be like, really? Be like, yeah, this is the combo.
Yeah.
It's outrageous, and then loads of people will back you up. And at the bottom, be like, actually, I'm selling 30 of these. Anyone want them?
I mean, to a degree, you do have to take your cues from that, though, right? Because you're not designing the game for like 200 people who are the best at it, right? Or like to play it like that kind of level. You're designing it for everybody. It's not just those kinds of people. The problem is when you're taking your cues from these people who are like the majority of the competitive player base, who are like, you know, mid-table Andes, but they haven't played a single game. They haven't, because you were in a pandemic.
I'm really
you
proud
were
of
in full lockdown.
Yeah, we are. Oh, not some countries though.
Like, so all of this, you're not just
Thailand.
taking cues. Yeah, you're not just taking your cues from people who think this is going to, like, who have played it and have experienced a negative play experience because of this rule. You are taking cues from people who don't understand the game's theory of the game.
But that's my favourite
It's
bit.
like talking to Greg in the pub about EU like regulations.
He knows everything, Tom. He's seen a YouTube video.
He sounds confident. Let's change the rules, shall we? Unbelievable.
Anyway, makes me laugh loads. I'm looking forward to tonight. Twitch chat. What have you been painting, or what are you painting at the minute?
Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Mate,
You just enjoyed your rant.
Completely zoned.
Tom's rants. Please clip that.
I have got.
I have a clips channel.
I'm still doing my Cyclops demolition vehicle here, mate.
Okay.
I'm going to finish that hopefully today while I'm off work. Apparently the Aussies quite like it, but I think they're idiots if they do. I'm also doing my second Manticore, so I can finish off my guard shelf. I've only got 2 Lehman Russes. Wow, it's getting heavy. I've got 2 Lehman Russes and the Chimera. We need to finish off that shelf too. I'm also halfway through my Acheron. I've done all the legs. I now just need to do the torso, the arms, and the head, and the top. And then we're finished that shelf as well. So hopefully I can bang my way through some shelves today. I was hoping I'd get to spray some of my knights, because I've got 3 more knights that I want to spray so I can do them all silver. And then I can touch up some brass sections and then wash them so I've got all the internal workings done. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen today, unless we want to create some silvers now, which we could do. But apart from that, yeah, I'm not working on too much. What are you paying at the minute, mate?
I'm still painting these Death Shroud Terminators. Sorry, not Death Shroud. Blightlord Terminators. And actually, when the show finishes, I'm gonna just absolutely just like nail them, because they've been on this table now for a couple of weeks, which has been really distressing me. And then I might try and move on to doing a Demon Prince, or something to just cleanse my palette before I've got to get on with the other like
something fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these are fun, but like I don't know. I feel they're a bit derpy. I don't really like them.
Okay.
So then I'd like to I've still got 20 Marines to do for the Plague Marines, so that's still quite a lot. But I'm just trying to generally get I want a pretty comprehensive Death Guard army ready. Maybe hold fire on a Demon Prince until I've seen the rules on Saturday, just in case they're just trashed here now and it's not even worth bothering. But it'll be a fun little piece to put together. And then I'm going to do some characters, because the Death Guard characters are just so fun. Yeah,
they look
so
really good.
fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint them up. They're pretty fun as well. So yeah, I'm actually really hyped for the Death Guard book, because I got some of you guys have only started tuning in recently or past couple of years. I got a Death Guard army right at the kind of start of 8th edition, but then there was a robbery at the old studio and they stole it, which must have been hilarious. They must have opened it and were like, yes, oh, what is this? And how much crack can I get for it? So having a new Death Guard army back is really exciting, and then a new book in the same time. So I'm pretty hyped for it, to be honest, Tom. And then I'm not too stressed about the Drukhari, to be honest. I don't know about you.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, because a lot of their damage was based upon damage 2 beforehand. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to manage that in a world where they're just obsessed with cramming -1 damage into everything they can.
Yeah, that's true. You think it's going to be everywhere?
Mate, it already is.
They
John
go
had
through
back
phases
planes.
as rules writers.
John-
They go through phases, don't they? Where they're just like, oh, you can always have -1 damage. Oh, you were always.
It's
always
like
strike
3-hit
faster.
passives in League of Legends, where every champion just gets released with a 3-hit passive. So you've got Wave Serpents with -1 damage. You've got Admech Flyers with -1 damage. You've got Dreadnoughts everywhere with -1 damage. You've now got Death Guard with -1 damage. We haven't even had half the books.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Right, listen, Twitch chat. It's been a pleasure. It's been a freaking, can say that, pleasure. Do join us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do join us again tomorrow. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's gonna be super fun, Tom. Oh, but most importantly, join us tonight for the the Honest Wargamer After Dark series, the 40k
Well, we're
show.
allowed to swear, yep.
We're allowed to swear. So yeah, I guess thank you very much, Nikos, for pointing that out. Thanks to everyone on Patreon. Literally couldn't live without you. So blessed be you. Thank you to everyone who subscribes on Twitch. Also give subscriptions at MJ Pegasus. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who listens to the podcast. Please do stay hydrated. So I guess I've got to end, Tom, by saying flub you, buddy.
Brilliant. See you later, guys.